Good morning, all of you. I, Alka Kumari, research scholar of NIT Rourkela, welcomes you all on the lecture of the FDP. I would like to welcome Professor Mayank Yadav to give his insight on the role of digitalization in ESG reporting. He is an assistant professor of the marketing area in the School of Management, NIT Rourkela. He has a PhD in social media marketing from the Department of Management Studies, Indian Institute of Technology, Rourkela. He is actively involved in teaching and research for more than a decade. His last academic assignment was with Ford School of Management, New Delhi. He has also taught at IIM Rohtak. He has published his research work in journals of international repute like Telematics and Informatics International Journal of Non-Profit and Voluntary Sector Marketing, Benchmarking and International Journal, Journal of Direct Data and Digital Marketing Practice, Social Network Analysis and Mining and others. His research interests includes social media marketing, e-commerce, consumer behavior, relationship marketing. He has also conducted various training programs for Agra Police, India Post, etc. Over to you, sir.
So thank you very much, Alka, for giving such a warm introduction for me. I'll just share my screen. And before sharing my screen, I would like to wish happy Makar Sankranti to each one of you. Alka, just confirm when the screen is visible to you, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Same to you. I reciprocate.
It's visible, sir.
It's visible, sir. It's just small.
Yeah. Right now it is visual.
Now is it visible?
Yeah. This one is
Yes.
visual. Role of data technology in ESG reporting.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So, good morning, everyone. So today, I would like to share my ideas and thoughts on the role of digital technology and ESG reporting. Now, from the various lectures, that has been conducted from the past 4 days, you have been receiving a lot of knowledge about ESG reporting. What is the ESG reporting all about? And my presentation will be specifically focusing more on the role of digital technologies, how these digital technologies are changing the landscape of ESG reporting. What are the various applications that are helping the companies to report their ESG data, and a few companies examples. I mean, those who are actually helping various corporates to report the ESG data digitally. Now, before starting that, I would like to just start that. Although this concept is burgeoning and it's been the need of the hour, but just think about that. What is the relevance of this ESG now as per Indian society, right? So I have taken these 3 dimensions and could able to search our ancient scriptures and just able to connect it that whether this ESG is gelling with our Indian culture or not, right? So I could find these 3. For environment, I would like to quote that for environment, there is written in our scriptures. I'll share the source and citation also and its meaning also, that Mata Bhumi Putruham Prithviya, and for governance it is Prajananave Bhutyartham Satabhyo Balim Grahit Sehastra Gunam Matyushtumad Tehi Rasam Ravi, and for social Ayum Bandhurayam Neti Gadana Lagu Chetsam Udar Chaditanam to Vasudev Kutumkam. Right. So just think, as far as environment is concerned, in Atharva Ved, Prithvi Sukt Shlok number 12, it is very clearly written that do not harm the environment, do not harm the water and the flora. Earth is my mother, I am her son. May the waters remain fresh, do not harm the waters. Tranquility be to the atmosphere, to the waters, to the crop and vegetation. Right. So this environment concept basically gels with our ancient scriptures. As far as social dimension is concerned, I mean, this is a very famous, very frequently you might be hearing this ayam bandhuryo netim gadana lagu sam udar charitanam tu vasudev kutumbakam. That means this is mine and this is not mine. Basically, this kind of counting is done by the people, those who have, narrow outlook. People of, broad outlook and, noble conduct, they think the entire earth as one family. So as one society, when we think about each other, right? And for governance, when we talk about corporate governance, so Kalidas in Raghuvansh, chapter 1 and the 18th slok, it is written very clearly that it was only for the welfare of the people that the state in which our Lord Ram was born, they took taxes from the people. Like similarly, sun absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. Why does it absorb moisture? To give rainfall in return, right? So that is what basically the concept of ESG is basically connecting with our Indian culture. So it's nothing new to us. We have been doing it from the past, but due to the effect of a lot of MNCs and other the things, we have stopped, and now again it's gaining global importance, but it is already there since long back in our scriptures. Now ESG, I'll not focus much on this because you have already heard too much about it. ESG stand for environment, social and governance. And what all components are included in it? You can see environment talks about the climate change and the forests and the renewable sources of energy, water pollution, all these things. And as far as social dimension is concerned, it talks about diversity, equity, and inclusion of human rights, right? And data privacy. As far as this digital is concerned, I have included this word data privacy. So this is also the social dimension, because more and more people now are dealing digitally. So as far as the social dimension, they should think about the data privacy also. Also, there are laws also in Personal Data Protection Act. And then governance talks about the broad composition, transparency in the organization, right? Lobbying and political contribution talks about these ESG. Now, what happens, dear participants? These three elements, whether it is environment, social, governance, they have different criterias which have to be reported, right? So what happens? Many of these criterias are very subjective, right? But what is happening with the advent of these digital technology? They are trying to make these criterias more and more objective, so that this becomes a bit easy for the people to report those ESG criterias. And what is the change that has happened now? Previously, people were not actually focusing more on these reporting honestly about these ESG criteria, rather than the corporates were focusing more on public relations, right? But now the scenario has changed. Various investors are looking for the companies, those who are doing good on these three criterias, and they generally think for the good companies, and ESG investors are also there. So that's what it is increasing. So this is just a small video. I would just like to ask the participant whether they are able to hear the audio or not. So I will just play for 2-3 seconds. You just confirm me whether you are able to hear the audio.
In an increasingly complex world, when faced with
Yes.
We can hear.
Yes,
Yes, this one is audible.
yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, you can hear the audio.
of companies. For example, initiatives in areas such as energy saving and the reduction of pollutant emissions. S. Social. We examine working conditions, relationships with clients and suppliers, and human resources management. G. Governance. We investigate the governance structure to assess if it's transparent and independent, how the corporate officers are appointed and remunerated, and if there is respect for shareholders.
So right, so this basically video is a small snapshot about the ESG investing and about the various criterias of ESG. So environment criteria of the ESG as far as the company profile is concerned, it basically includes renewable sources of energy, waste management practices, and air pollution and water pollution management practices, right? And the other things, and other issues can be something like how you source raw material, from where you source raw material, are those raw materials basically include those ingredients which basically harm the environment or not. So I mean, I'm talking about whether it is organic or biodegradable or not. So those kind of concerns basically they include in the environment factor. As far as social factors are concerned, they talks about the relationship of the corporate and the society, whereby a lot of things are concerned about the society. We talks about the relationship for company from the point of view of many socially responsible investors, right, as well as its employees, right. Another thing is that it also takes into consideration the examining of how company handles its social relationship, whether it's the society, immediate society, right, on a global level, on a local level, as well as with the internal employees also. So it talks about, is employee pay fair or even generous enough? No, not only just fair, is it generous, right, and comparable to the other jobs and similar position within that particular industry, right, not into just that locality but industry wise comparison. So those kind of things. What are the benefits provided for the employees? I mean, they're talking about the retirement plans and the other fringe benefits the employees offered, and training programs and education program that talks about the social dimension. And the governance criteria of ESG basically talks about the corporate governance, whereby they talks about that how well the boards, especially the executive management, right, board of directors, they attend to the interest of the stakeholder. Now stakeholders includes employees, the customers, the suppliers, the all the people, those who are directly having some stake in the company, right. So does the company give back to the community where it is located, right? So you are taking some resources from the environment, so are you giving actually back to the society? That it talks about, right? Then it also talks about the board members, the fiduciary relationship with the stockholders. I mean, they talk about to avoid the conflicts in the duties of interest, and are the board of members and company executive a diverse or inclusive group? That also has to be taken into consideration. Then also on the salaries of the executive people on the top level, right? For example, they don't tend to favor a multi-million dollar bonuses for executives, while the companies imposes a salary freeze in effect of all other employees. So that also is seen in the governance, the top people getting too much of fringe benefits while the other employees have got a freeze. So that should not be the practice. So these all things are taken care as far as the governance is concerned. Now, why basically the different trends are there, and these trends are basically I've taken out top 10 trends of the new decade, which will be as far as this ESG and ESG reporting will be concerned. These are the 10 trends. So the number one is basically the climate change, the path through net zero. As you know that with this global warming and the pollution in the environment, sea water level in the seas rising, glaciers are melting. So what happened? We expect commitments to net zero emissions by companies, right? And invest to become standard practice by the end of the decade. So this will be a trend now. Each and every company will be expected to at least be close to zero emissions, and that's why you see a lot of emission norms, BS6 norms in automobiles, and all government is basically implementing in India as well also. And like in Delhi also, it's been implementing diesel vehicles will run for 10 years and petrol for 15 years. They're all various steps taken by government. Then the second trend is the next phase of good governance, environment, and social issues. Now, this trend also will be the continuing in the near future. That what are the initiatives to improve the board quality, and then we talk about the rights of the shareholders, the incentive structures of the management, right, and the environmental and social issues that basically will be the center of the investment and boards. So that's the prime concern. That will be again a trend that will be keep on trend in this new decade. By 2030 these trends will continue. Then ESG disclosure, now it will be a new normal. Previously, no, ESG was considered some big companies, those who used to disclose their ESG, and that was considered that yes, so and so companies extremely good. They think about the environment, society, and the corporate governance. But now it will not be something that is very special about it. It will become a new normal. Each and every company in the near future will be looking after it, and they have to do this, ESG disclosures for the society, because if they are not disclosing the ESG, the investors will not be interested. And not only investors, even now the customers and the clients, we will have another trends also. Now people are becoming very climate conscious. So generally, we have found a trend, whether it is e-commerce sites also, people are lot many searching history. If you see, they're searching for organic products, no climate conscious products. Like when we talk about leather, for example, now mahogany leather is coming, though also that is also, wasting somehow the plants. But yes, people are becoming now climate conscious. Slowly, the world is going to be a better place, and the government and the other stakeholders will play a huge role into this. Now, ESG investing will keep on be continuing, and it will become the new trend. And because ESG disclosure will pave way for investment professionals to better incorporate ESG risk assessment. So, ESG, investing will become an integral part of the mandatory disclosure in the company. Some places it's basically voluntary, but like India, China, there is a mandate, but I'll discuss when I'll close this PPT. Then ESG engagement, asset management managers, they have to take a lead. Why? Because these asset managers have to play a fundamental role in the disclosures, and they could identify the governance issues, right? And these governance issues, if they are being identified, they basically help in reforming the corporate practices and the adoption of standards, right? So these asset managers will have a great role to play. Then economic activism and governance as a driver of change. Now, previously, company used to think that the company who have a good profitability is only good, right? But now the trend will change. Economic activism is not just enough. We'll be talking more about the governance, right? So they are specifically mentioning that view, the view that improved governance can enhance long-term shareholder returns is resonating. It's basically gelling with a growing number of large asset managers, integrating that just good financial performance alone will not be enough, right, to shield companies from economic activism. So that is not just enough. So good governance will also be required. Now, the seventh trend talks about, that is the trend of our PPT also, and the topic which we are discussing today, the data and technology, smarter analytics drive ESG practices and protocols. Now, technology will change the entire landscape of ESG reporting in the coming future, because now we talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, big data, and there is huge data present. Now it's very difficult. I remember, the vice president of DSW was discussing that day in the session, that they are also putting it into practices with some cloud computing, and that to place a data at one place. They were previously using Excel. Now just think Excel and just manually entering that data, huge data. So it becomes very time consuming. So now technology is actually going to play a pivotal role to change the landscape of ESG reporting, right? Then diversity and inclusion, and that basically will be talking about the beyond boardroom diversity, in the sense means, right? So companies should focus, or companies and investors will shift towards diversity across the organization. Previously, it was just focused on their boardroom focus. Diversity was focused only to the organization and the investors. Now this will shift from outside the organization also, across the organization, and policies on equal pay, equal opportunity, corporate culture, right? That will also come under the intense scrutiny. Now, investors basically will be scrutinizing these factors. Then, executive compensation, increased focus on metrics and goals, right? So now what is happening is they want to tell that the performance of these executives will not just be directly related to the time base, that will be directly linked with the performance, the metrics and the goals. Like you might be seen, especially, a lot of faculties are sitting over here, right? in our Indian system also, a lot of the guidelines are there to rate the faculties, right? Whether it is API or API score, or whether it is the MRR guidelines for institutes of national importance. So it's not just time based. It's basically the metrics and goal based. You achieve and then you get something. And finally, that is always the political influence will be there. There will be a geopolitics, political pressure from the global level as well as from the country level. So these are the top 10 ESG trends that will continue in the new decade. And now we will see that why this ESG has gained a lot of importance, right? What is the reason that this ESG is, gaining a lot of importance? So there are certain reasons also. Just a small video, you can just see it. Right. So why basically, it's getting too much of importance. I just wanted to show you some statistics and some reasons with the help of that video. So it might have gone shown you that the snapshot about the importance of ESG now. Now, another thing is that, as the focus of this PPT also talks about, now what are the reasons that sustainability needs to be a part of your digital transformation strategy? Now, why digital is basically gaining too much of importance? So there are 10 reasons behind it. So it talks about there is an increase in the adopt of sustainable practices. So they said that recent study conducted by MIT Center of Transportation and Logistics and the Council of Climate Control, that it talks about that uh, around 46% of the 1128 survey respondents noted that they felt pressured by external stakeholders to adopt sustainability practices. Now, sustainability practices is not just related to you do something sustainable to the environment and all that, but we waste a lot of papers also, and we waste too much of human energy on reporting it without the help of digital platforms. So if digital comes into practices, right, so not only this ESG reporting will be easy, but also it will be less time consuming, and moreover it will be more collaborative. I'll show you in the when we'll go further that how it can basically change the landscape. The second reason that it has to be a part of digital transformation strategy is that every organization needs to prepare for known and unknown, for operating in fluid and fast changing business environment. As you know that Joe Biden pledged to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement along with a $1.7 trillion plan to invest in clean energy and infrastructure next 10 years, and the method to trace and track implementation of this. Just think about the Paris Climate Agreement, so big and $1.3 trillion. Now, how will be they able to track so huge data? Again, the digital is going to play a huge role into this. Then increased expectation of voluntary sustainable reporting. Now, people are stakeholders and the investor, they are expecting that you should voluntarily disclose the ESG reporting. So what happened is that, so you see countries like Indonesia, India, China mandate the reporting of sustainable practices, and the report of sustainable practices continues to be voluntary in US. Now with KPMG reporting, 93% of the 250 largest global organizations now publish their sustainability practices, and stakeholders will look for some small and medium enterprise to begin publishing these reports as well. Now, from MSMEs also, it is expected they should also disclose their ESG practices or sustainability reporting practices, right? So this is the third reason. The fourth reason is that now evaluating sustainability. Got it. I'll request the host to enable the screen sharing of this. Alka, you are taking care of it. So enable the screen sharing in this.
Yes, so you can share it now.
So is it visible now? I request the participant to please take care of their mics. It looks very awkward when the mics are open and other audience are listening. So it is my humble request to keep yourself muted. You will get a chance to ask questions at that particular time. I request each and every respectable participants. Thank you very much. Right. So is the screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now the another reason for taking care, including this digital into your digital transformation strategy in the sustainable ESG is concerned, reporting is concerned. So include sustainability as the fifth pillar of the balanced scorecard, right? So sustainability now been, so there is a trend that it's been including as a fifth pillar in the balanced scorecard. So it's in integrating sustainability into the organization mission and strategy and adding sustainability to the balanced scorecard of the company. It will provide what? It will provide more and more transparency and importance to organizations' initiative. Right. So that is there. So again, now there is a shift in the behavior of the consumer also. What is happening now? Generation Z and the millennials, they are more and more inclined towards buying sustainable products, organic products, something that saves energy, something that is environment friendly. So people are now actually looking care of it. So what happens, there is one data also we have shared over here. It states that one study out of 10,000 global consumers found that 91% of the shoppers worldwide will likely to switch to brand that support a social or environmental cause, right? So now, since this trend is shifting and this generation Z and millennials are there, and I hope and I'm quite confident these generation Z and millennials, they are quite active on the internet. So now if the organization does not embrace digital technology as a part of their ESG disclosures or ESG reporting, this they are going to suffer in the near future, right? The trend is introduction of sustainable project management also. So you have to manage the product with the help of, you cannot manage the huge project with the help of these, without the help of these digital technologies. What happens? So traditional digital transformation projects may not be applicable. So just sharing the PDF or that. Now there are various interactive technology whereby, customer can co-create and the stakeholders can co-create and help in ESG reporting. Right. So that's what is the role of digital technology. And last is sustainability is no longer nice. It is must. Right. So it's no longer that you are doing something special. If you are taking care of sustainability, now it's a need of the hour. It's no longer something desirable. It's now something you have to do it for your future generations, if not for yourself, at least for your future generations. Now, another thing is the 5 ways by which the technology can be a game changer, right? A technology can be a game changer in your ESG journey, right? So we took the help of one study by Harvard Business School, and they said that companies with the better ESG performance on material topics are expected to have better future stock performance and higher growth in accounting profitability. Now, however, reporting as per ESG standard can prove to be a times intensive activity and some cost is involved in it. So adhering to the guidelines may be prohibitive. So it takes a lot of time. Now, to save the time, what can help us? This digital technology can help us. So what is happening? They're telling that Harvard people told that HBS, that technology has a potential to revolutionize the traditional sustainability management through the automation of existing processes, intelligence and data-driven insights, and communication between a company and its various stakeholders. So that's way. So we will discuss one by one what are those 5 ways by which technology can play, or digital technology can play, a pivotal role in ESG journey or ESG reporting. So first is technology improves your visibility, right? That's very, you become quite visible. Just think about these platforms. Whether social media platforms and other digital platforms, so your visibility becomes very high. Although there are certain algorithms and programs, search engine optimization and other things which can actually help you to improve your search engine ranking, but that's a different game altogether. But yes, it has got the potential to improve your visibility, and performance can actually enhance with the help of, because some marketing, there is one very simple principle, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. Very simple. What is visible gets sold. So very important to use technology to enhance your visibility performance. Now, the data is not readily available. It becomes difficult for a company to track its ESG performance when they do it manually or with the help of just Excel and all. Now, what these digital technology are doing, they are actually help to integrate or streamline these processes, and they collect and visualize data over a one single platform, right? So how this is how, you know, these technology is helping them to report their ESG. Then integration of these digital technology would allow the companies not only to spot high performing areas, but also to identify the weak areas. So both strength and weaknesses, both, right? And that require more attention, and this will actually help them to enhance their, that improve their performance, and they can take corrective actions also, because now the process is available at one place. It becomes more streamlined. So this is one which can technology can help. The second thing is collect high quality last mile data, right? As again, I'll just like to quote that our vice president of JSW was sharing that day, that when they were doing it on Excel, these ESG reporting data, ESG data, what they were telling, they have to wait till the month end and then finally see that employees reporting that. Now what they're doing with the help of these cloud computing and AI, so they can do it on daily basis and on at a real time basis. So that's what is, the importance of technology. So moreover, this point is talking about the quantity of the data and the data which is, in the last mile, very in the last mile that you get, so it gets updated in the real time. That they are telling that, see, data is everywhere now. Because of the advent of internet and these digital technologies, many of the companies are doing their business globally. So data is present everywhere, but how to capture and take the data to get meaningful information, so that is where these digital technology will play a role. And also they're telling that it can enable companies digitize the entire process of data collection and trace the data back to its source, right, from where it has come. And due to this place, more transparency occurs in the organization and accountability for the data, because they know from where it is coming and how it is coming, and what is the quantity of the data, means it takes case of the big data also. Then additionally, they can audit documents collected in the process to serve as a proof solving for the reliability of the data, right? So audit documents can also be there, so that they can tell that yes, proper auditing can be done, and then they can tell that yes, this data is reliable. So automation also eases the reporting struggles, giving the sustainability managers more time to focus on the key risk and opportunities. So what happened if in the manual process we keep on going towards the traditional or the conventional practices? What will happen? We will be wasting our energy. Now, if we take the help of these technologies, this will not only save our time, and side by side, those managers can focus their energy into some areas where their organization can enhance their performance well, right? So this is second. The third is the communication, the effective communication. I am quite sure that you all will be with me on this, that technology has basically improved the communication process. It has provided chance to each and every one to communicate with each other very effectively, right? So these are the things whereby technology playing a greater role. Now, as far as ESG is concerned, how this is playing a role in communicating with customers and employees, just see what they're telling that. Now, sustainability report, they focus on various clients. It may be your investors, I mean, your customers, or your employees, right? Now, each and everyone has their own expectation. Customer has got a different expectation. Investor has got a different expectation, right? And maybe, the suppliers may have got a different expectation. Now, what happens when we talk about investors? So they are interested in ESG issues, right? And why they are interested into ESG issues? Because they will financially affect the company, right? Then material issues. Now, customer and employees, when we talk about, they are more interested into what? Overall ESG performance of the company, right? Now, when we use this technology, then we can trap the data very easily, and we can customize that data as per the needs of different target groups. For customer and employees, we can customize the data accordingly. For investors, we can customize the data accordingly. So that is what basically, when you customize according to them, they will get that information pertinent to them, right? Something that is relevant to them. Then these technology data can be easily prioritized to suit the needs of different groups. Then dashboards and dynamic infographics are some examples of ways in which organization can engage their stakeholders. Now, something like it's infographics and something like, you have a lot of charts, diagrams, videos, and that's very important also, right? Because only showing text and not showing pictures and videos, make the audience bored. And moreover, it's been there in the theory that people cannot develop more interest if they do not being shown some pictures or videos. The text bores them, right? And they cannot memorize it for long. So that is why these infographics are required, and which digital technologies can be very helpful in that. Then effective communication translate into enhanced transparency and increased trust among the stakeholders. Obviously, that is there. Another fourth trend is they can respond to ESG standards. Now, what happens? There are different standards and bodies. There are different reporting mechanisms. Just compare, like in research, we have references styles like APA, Harvard, Chicago. Similarly, like in ESG also, we have different reporting methods. So what happens? These digital technology have this function. These softwares or the platform, they have this function that depending upon the different reporting standards, they can report accordingly. So that is also one very good criteria. Otherwise, what used to happen manually, if you do and you want to report it to different agencies, so they have their own different parameters and their own different style of reporting. So whereas technology can help this into this. So what happened? So responding to all frameworks also means that company can track its ESG performance, identify pain points and areas of improvement as per the different standards. So different standards. So see, that is the beauty of the technology. Various platforms, accordingly, you can, use your data and report according to the different ESG standard. That is also one very good point of the digital technology. The last point, the fifth one, is you can collaborate with your stakeholders to capture and report data. Dear participants, this is not a new trend. We are being observing this trend from way back. You might have heard the concept of co-creation, right? So what happens, customer not only buy your product, they help you in co-creating your product because they are the one who will use it. Right. Similarly, what is happening when we talk about ESG reporting? So it's not that just stakeholders just see the data, then they can also collaborate into that data. They can help you in that sense. So this collaboration becomes easy with the help of digital technology. So what happened? It can be leveraged to remove communication barrier between the company and its various stakeholders. What happened? They work jointly, collaboratively. You might have seen many times when we talk about the co-created product development. So customers and the company come together and they help in creating a lot of products for the company. Like we have different flavor of Lays. How they came? They came with the help of the ideas provided by the customer. So right, what happens? Similarly, in the case of ESG, what happened? If you enable the seamless communication technology, it not only helps to save time and money, but effort across the ESG lifestyle. Now, when you include stakeholders in the reporting process, now it has two benefits. Previously, you are doing it on your own. The company, if you are a company, you are doing it on your own. Now, what is happening? You are including the stakeholders. Now, it has got two benefits when you include stakeholders in the reporting process. The first benefit is that it enables companies to learn more about their needs and wants and resulting in better reporting, right? Because why do company exist? What is the purpose of existence of the company, right? The major is to serve the society and to serve its stakeholders. If they are not happy, ultimately it's useless. So when they collaborated, when you include them in the reporting process, this happens, it helps in better reporting and identifying their needs. The second advantage is that it can enhance the sense of belongingness. They feel connected. Okay, yeah, company is taking care of me. So whenever these co-created things happen, you are trying to engage your stakeholders. And let me tell you, just participation is not enough. Engagement is very much necessary, right? And it's one of the highly researched agendas in the coming future. So that's what same they are talking about. When you try to engage the customer with you, you tell them to be a part of process. They feel a sense of belongingness. Okay, it's mine. The company belongs to me. So right. So it keeps them, makes them feel valued. They feel valued. So what happened when integration of this technology can take companies ESG reporting to the next level, right? So more and more transparency can also occur into this. To sum up, technology can give a boost to company sustainability efforts and improve ESG performance. Now, the digital reporting context. So I'll just share, some findings with the WBCSD 2019. When the report I found it of October 2019. Some good things are there. Sustainability reporting and technology, they are converging, right? They are meeting at point. So now very less, if most of the companies on the global level, they are trying to integrate technology with ESG reporting. So there are two reasons they have mentioned. First is that it impacts the process of producing and aggregating and analyzing sustainability data internally, right? So you produce, aggregate and analyze the data internal level. And second is it impacts how companies are communicating their sustainability approach to external audience. So both internally and externally. So the technology is playing a role into it. How internally it helps their employees to tap the data, store the data, analyze the data. And for externally, it helps how to disseminate that information, right? So that's what is the role is playing. Now, this report was talking about a model that is a digital maturity model, and which is being used in sustainability. That talks about it enables companies to evaluate their digital strategy for sustainability reporting. So when it talks about their digital maturity model, I'll just show you that how this model, it's in the form of a graph. Just see this graph. This is a digital maturity model. So on x-axis, what we are seeing that integration of digital technology into internal reporting process. So when you integrate the digital technology in your internal reporting process, on the y-axis, we find that digital format for sustainability reporting and communication. That means internally and externally, those 2 points which I just shared. So that is with the help of the digital reporting maturity model. So if you see on the x-axis, we have 3 stages. First stage is manual reporting. Second is your somewhat digital integration. And the third one is your digital reporting process. Means the company is totally reporting the process digitally. That's the talk about the y-axis, that is the external level. X-axis is the internal. So when you report it with the help of PDFs, like annual reports of the company are formed, just shared in the form of PDFs. So very less, use of trended digital. Then some digital content you share, and then digital first. Everything will be digital first. So that is the extreme end. So if we see, there are 3-4 strategy according to it. They tell it. So when there is traditional PDF and you report the manual reporting, so that is known as limited digital strategy. So when we talk about, some digital content and a little bit mid between, some digital and digital reporting process, and some digital and digital first. So there are two strategies. So if it is highly digital first, it becomes an engagement focused digital strategy. But if externally digitalized, see, internally you are using digitalization to a larger extent, but when you share it to the external audience, what happens? That time what you are using somewhat digital content, so that it is a technical focused digital strategy. Why? Dissemination, you are not using digital, but internally for analyzing the data internally, you are using the digital process. So it's technically focused digital strategy. Whereas when we have the internal process also using the digital technology, and the external process also the digital first, then we tell it a balanced digital strategy. So this is something I thought of sharing. It's very useful, and but how companies basically can, depending upon the sources, because see, these graphs we can share, but every organization may not afford all this, or they may not be so technically sound. So based on their resources, based on their capabilities, not only the human resource or the funds, they can choose one of those strategy. But I would never recommend that you should use a limited digital strategy, because that's not going to function anyhow, especially in these tough times of COVID-19. So at least you can focus engagement focus, or at least technical focus, if not balanced digital strategy. Right. Now, how technology influence the reporting process? Artificial intelligence is a new big thing. I hope you all of you are aware. The moment you know AI and machine learning helps it. You search something on a YouTube, and when you open the YouTube again, you find that same recommendations are given to you. So they are customized according to you. So the technology has become intelligent. So that is what, the artificial intelligence. So how does it help the reporting process? So AI has proliferated globally, and the professional and personal uses. So types of AI ranges are there. Now, in the context of sustainability reporting, artificial intelligence application include machine automated analysis and forecasting. Then they can also apply artificial intelligence to process ESG related big data. So artificial intelligence can be used to process big data. Then it can help the employees to save more time to manage the data collection. And also it can artificial intelligence, based on the tracking the data of the stakeholders, they can basically tell that what is that things or that topics which the stakeholders like, so that they can efficiently produce more data. And what are the non-financial key performance indicators, the KPIs, right? And investors also, see, they are using artificial intelligence to scrutinize unstructured and scattered ESG data. So this is how it can influence. Then blockchain is another revolution. Blockchain is what? Basically, it's a digital distributed ledger technology in a DLT format. So that records the transactions in a block format. So what happens? Each transaction forms a block of information which is validated to peer-to-peer network. And when these blocks get validated, they are stored in the list of transaction records, and the changes the blockchain are visible to networks. So this is a technical thing, but I'll tell you how this is happening and helping in ESG reporting. See, its feature can improve sustainability reporting, most notably in terms of value chain transparency, right? So companies can disclose near real-time ESG information then about value chain transactions, and instead of annually disclosing their statistic figure. So right, so on the real-time basis, as it happens, it is get processed. As it happened, it gets processed. So information is available on the real-time basis. Then ESG information is provided and validated in by multiple parties. So there are different parties involved to validate that particular data information. So this distributed ledger can increase the trust and credibility, because many times it is getting validated. So that's a trustable source between reporters and producers and users. Then it can also generate traceable ESG information for sustainability reporting through permanent audit trails. So that is the reign of blockchain. Now this is XBRL. Now it's again, it's also very popular, XBRL. And especially the European countries like UK, they are making it compulsory to have XBRL tags, right? So it stands for Extensible Business Reporting Language. So what is that? It's a reporting tool developed to improve exchange information systems. So it uses agreed predefined tags to categorize data that can be read by any XBRL compatible software. So what you need, XBRL tags will be there, and that language will be used, XBRL language. So you need one software to decode that language and understand that what will be the the criteria of ESG as per these XBRL tags. So what is happening now? It is widely required in the financial arena where accessibility, analysis, and comparability of financial information is key to investors. So what is happening? It is compulsory for regulatory filings in jurisdiction like United Kingdom and Japan. So from 2020, listed European companies will be obliged to label their financial reports with XBRL tags. Now, European single electronic formats was created as a result, and thus the US Securities and Exchange Commission is pursuing a similar development from 2021 onward, very recent, after which the companies will need a IXBRL tag to all facts to note to consolidate financial statement. So see how technology is basically revolutionizing this ESG reporting. Now, another role of digitalization in ESG we talk about. I'll first talk about ESG, then I'll talk about something about the AI and the other things. So first is use of this digital technology. It is reducing the environmental impact, right? So environmental impact, how? First, it make compute workload more efficient, right? So what happens? They making your app and compute workloads more efficient, which will reduce the cost, reducing the cost, then energy requirements, and thus reduce the carbon footprints of those workloads. So if computer workload is also decreasing, it will consume less electricity, and when less electricity will be consumed, so obviously carbon footprint will be reduced to some time. So if you are doing it manually, you require a lot of computer load, so your computer workload increase. But with these digital technologies, the softwares, the solutions, computer workload is also decreasing, and also the reason is it is done on the real time. That's the biggest advantage. And in the cloud tools like compute instance, auto scaling, and sizing recommendation, make sure you're not running too many oversized cloud VMs based on demand. So that is a precaution that you have to take care. And then you can also move serverless computing. See, serverless computing, which does much of this scaling work automatically, right? So this can reduce environment. One more point is included in reducing the environmental impact, that is deploy compute workloads in region with lower carbon intensity. So that is also there. So you deploy your computer workload region which has low carbon intensity, at least the load gets shared somewhere. If a region which is already loaded with high carbon intensity, so I mean you are additionally adding, so try to divide that load. So they're telling that, so choosing a cloud region with lower carbon intensity is often the simplest and the most impactful step that you can take towards ESG, right? And another step is to estimate your specific workloads carbon footprint using open source software like cloud carbon footprint. So you can estimate what is the carbon footprint of my compute workload, so that you can calculate. Then ETSY has open source similar tool called Cloud Jewels that estimates energy consumption based on cloud usage information. So this is helping them to track the progress towards their target of reducing this energy intensity by 25% by 2025. So remember, see these cloud carbon footprint or the other cloud jewels, these technologies basically helping them. Previously, people were not knowing actually what is our carbon footprint. So now they are estimating on real level, and that is why they are having the target to reduce it to 25%. So that is basically a role of technology. Second is S part of G, that is ESG, that is social impact. How digitalization is doing a social impact. They include the societal benefits in the design of your products. Like as the chief technical officer or technology founder, you can help ensure the societal benefit are prioritized in your product roadmaps, right? So when you do a product development or there, you should keep into mind of the society, right? Now, for example, if you are a fintech CTO or chief technical officer, you can add product features to expand access to credit in under-reserved population. So it will take care of the society that are under-reserved, unprivileged, right? Machine learning and AI is also, they are revolutionizing this landscape of ESG, right? So they personalize the digital experience everyone is accustomed to, and from product to content recommendations. Then it is therefore criticized to incorporate the responsible behavior and AI practices, right? Then the another thing is, just wait, the governance impact. No, now to create a diverse and inclusive technology team compared to the individual decision makers, diverse teams make better decisions, right? So not just you are taking employees from only one region, right? So you have to create a diverse workforce. So they're telling 87% of the time. Additionally, Gartner research, they found that a diverse workforce performance improves by 12% and intent to stay by 20%. See, if you have a diverse workforce, performance can increase up to 12% and in the by 12%, and intend to their, I mean, they can say they can be more stable in the organization. So what is happening is, so you can establish voluntary internal programs and collect demographics, including gender, race, ethnicity, and data will provide a baseline for identifying diversity gaps, right? Then consider going further by making these improvements into your employee performance process, such as objectives, results, OKRs. So these are the three ESG impacts which the digitalization technology can take place. AI, as I have already told you, how is a technology for good? I have just included over here certain qualitative information, because what is the importance of this AI? Because it can process the qualitative information also, because of help of those voice recognition and the the speech recognition functions which are there. So this can actually help to analyze the qualitative data also. That is the beauty of AI. So it can be done as a technology for good. So tracking those ESG disclosures with the help of the voice recognition, if there is someone has given or said something, so that software cannot do it. But yes, if it is artificial intelligence enabled software, it can analyze that voice and analyze the data qualitatively also. That's one very important function, or the what's say competency of artificial intelligence. So then I'll just come to, I hope yes, I have 15 more minutes. So then artificial intelligence and qualitative assessment, as I already told you, I'll just focus more briefly on what these artificial intelligence and qualitative data assessment are. You see, if you do it manually, second paragraph is very clearly saying it. Unfortunately, the process of manually gathering and processing qualitative data is both time consuming and error prone. But thanks to artificial intelligence, and more specifically natural language processing, it's possible now to speed up this process and automatically generate reports in the real time. So that's the beauty of these technologies. Now, thanks to speech recognition, videos that can also be scrutinized. And this is very useful for companies that are a part of news cycle. Now consider that television tends to have a broader reach other than the forms of media. So if I sum up, so artificial intelligence is playing a revolutionary role as far as the qualitative data is concerned of ESG. So very thing, then IoTs and ESGs, the Internet of Things. So as you know that this data is scattered across various departments in the geographical regions. So most corporations, what they happen, they do not have protocols for data collection. So the data sets are prone to errors. So what happened, these internet and devices, what they do, they can automate and centralize the data collection, and corporation can have one data engineer handling all the process from anywhere on the plate, right? And as long as all connected devices are calibrated and maintained, and data can be collected reliably. So that is this Internet of Things and ESGs. Now technology trends. Now what are the technology trends in ESG? Now sustainable robo advice has come now with the help of this machine learning. ESG focused robo platform use machine learning algorithms to guide investor towards sustainable suitable investment. Think again one step ahead in the ESG, the role of these digital technologies. So robo gives you an advice based on this machine learning that where to invest, where not to invest, and typically they exchange the The exchange traded funds ETFs are there that bundle securities into themed and lower risk instruments in which risk is hedged across a portfolio. So these sustainable robo advice helps in evaluating those portfolio in a effective manner. Then the ETF have grown in popularly due to specialist robo advisors that deals exclusively in sustainable ETFs. So the total amount of capital available of SDGs may increase significantly by making it easier for individuals to invest in accordance with their value and preferences. So another important trend, sustainable robo advice. This is one trend. Another is cloud migration. Another trend in the technologies and ESG tells that because it is more energy efficient, so financial services providers, what they do, they use this cloud migration to share the data centers and instead of having their own, so they share the cloud of others, right? And most incumbent banks are moving applications, data and infrastructure to the cloud to reduce both operational cost and carbon emissions also, right? So this cloud migration again is contributing towards the ESG goals. Then cloud migration can also reduce global carbon emission by 59 million tons of CO2 per year. So just see, it's a huge amount. So according to a consulting firm, Accenture is telling that. Now this represents a 5.9% reduction in total information technology related emissions, the equivalent of taking 22 million cars off the road. So it's huge. So that's the advantage of the digital technology and ESG. The third is spending analytics. Spending analytics basically talks about the vendors that are repurposing digital money management, right? So basically it's for the financial sector. So the capabilities to optimize financial wellness goal of ESG. So there's a vendor known as DMM vendor Meniga now offers climate change impact insight, right? So this offers a climate change impact insight. So Doconomy in Sweden, a partner of MasterCard, helps user track the measure the CO2 emissions, right? And associated with their purchases. So when they purchase something, they help the user that how you are reducing or measure, or what is the current level of your CO2 emissions when you purchase something. Then technology firms enable users to limit the climate impact to their spending through climate saving, climate compensation, sustainable investment, and climate refunds from partner brands. So these spending analytics, various companies provide these analytics, so which can actually tell, and you can track the ESG impact of your these analytics, which are the data insights which these companies provide. Fourth is the open banking ecosystem and sustainable digital finance, right? So now online and these digital technologies happening. So what happened? Banks are strategically deploying fintech ecosystem to drive sustainability in their product and operations. So which is referred to as sustainable digital finance, right? So it subsumes mobile payments, platforms, internet banking, artificial intelligence, blockchains, digital tokens, and Internet of Things, and directly support the targets set by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, right? So this is also how technology can help the ESG, and these are one of the trends in ESG. Then certain technologies improving ESG. I have just kept certain example. See, Satellite View is basically a data analytics company. So these are all live examples. So you can get an insight that what all companies are basically involved in ESGs. So Satellite View is a data analytics company that provide insights into economic activity, energy efficiency, and carbon footprint, right? So it's building temperature monitoring and can be used to track and reduce carbon emissions over time. So if you want to see over that environment impact, Satellite View is one company, you can take the help of that. Then Carbon Chain provides solution to track the risk involved in carbon supply chain system and reduce greenhouse gas emission across industries such as oil and gas, mining, and agriculture. The third company is Tesla. Tesla uses satellite imagery and the artificial intelligence technologies to help business to assess sustainable environmental challenges. Then fourth is energetic insurance. So energetic insurance, what they're doing, they have developed an innovative credit insurance product for the renewable energy. And what they do, they help increase access to capital for commercial renewable energy projects, right? renewable energy products, not for non-renewable, right? The another company is Energetic Insurance. They are also developed an innovative credit insurance for product renewables that increase the capital for commercial energy. Sorry, that's a repetition. Another is Visa. So is an AI enabled application that includes a chatbot. So you might have seen when you surf a website of the company, you get various chatbots and they try to interact with you. So they include chatbot and self-help tools and messaging based support from human therapists for mental and emotional wellness. So these are few companies that are changing the uh, landscape of ESG reporting. So technology is actually playing a wide role. Digital technology is playing a wide role in ESG reporting. Then Democrane is one. Democrane has developed a full cycle SaaS platform that takes the clients to build and launch insurance and micro insurance product specifically aimed at uninsured and underinsured markets, right? Then Saffron has developed a platform using artificial intelligence and real-time data analytics that makes insurance accessible and focused on finance inclusion in Southeast Asia, right? Then there is Grun Verigent. Then Grun Verigent provides an insurance comparison platform to check whether insurance premiums are invested into sustainable projects. So these are the few companies, like 9 companies over here I discussed, which basically are using the technologies to focus on these ESG dimensions. So these are this is again one video which tells about that how companies are actually some companies are providing solutions to the ESG. So ICA is also one company that helps in ESG reporting. So now there are various
Sir, you
tools
are
to.
not audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, you are
Yeah.
audible.
You are audible,
You
sir.
are audible.
You are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so most of the people are telling I'm audible. Thank you very much. So tools for there are certain tools for sustainability reporting in the digital age. So it can be interactive charts and maps, and data visualization tools are there, which can be used to report the ESG. Then in the form of videos, you can do it. GIF that can be used, and then social media can also be used for this ESG reporting in the sustainability reporting. Then annual reporting on apps. Now apps have become very popular, right? So on those apps you can report your ESG. So these are certain tools to report ESG. Now another example of a company, you see they are doing it.
Investors increasingly want to incorporate ESG considerations into their investment strategies. Underscoring the magnitude of this trend, ESG-driven assets now exceed $40 trillion, and demand continues to grow. But ESG investing presents several challenges for investment firms looking to grow market share and launch innovative products. A lack of standardized ESG data, metrics, and methodologies means investors need help normalizing disparate data sources to create new strategies and act on new insights. State Street ESG Solutions is the perfect complement to our existing full-service model, which covers all aspects of financial risk measurement, including market, liquidity, and counterparty risk. Our open architecture lets you source ESG data from multiple data providers to best support your investment needs. And our in-house data management and analytics enable standardized reporting and support for the emerging Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation and climate risk reporting aligned with the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. From portfolio construction, benchmarking, and risk modeling to trading, compliance, and post-trade operations, our ESG solutions, part of State Street Total ESG, can help support your investment strategies. Find out more at statestreet.com.
So statestreet.com is another company which provide this, which helps the companies to in his ESG reporting and provide those technology infrastructure. So I have also put, dear participants, over here some applications which they help in ESG reporting. So there is a known as Company Tracker app, that is a global multi-stakeholder platform by G17 Eco. This empowers companies to monitor and measure their sustainability, right? The app also incorporates metrics from FinCap, that is recently launched ESG scorecard. Then the combination of company tracker and ESG scorecard, what happens? It makes this reporting tool especially useful. So FinCap data and this ESG balance scorecard and then company tracker, that makes this ESG reporting more useful. And there are certain other companies you see, they are being increasingly scrutinized on their ESG performance. And WWG is a technology partner for the UK government and the City of London, backed by Sustainable Development Capital Initiative. So various companies, they are helping in this ESG reporting with the help of their technological infrastructure. And I mean their trained staff, which are specially skilled to report this ESG data. Then there is one more company that is known as Rourkela. It's an online digital sustainability reporting platform that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on an internet enabled device, right? So this also helps to helps the customers in ESG reporting. So while a carbon chain provides solution to track risk involved in carbon supply chain, reduce emission greenhouse gases. So these are the another organizations. Now I'll skip this video. Now I have put certain examples of the companies which are leading in this ESG and they're using these digital platforms like Tata Power, and they have scored highest in India as in ESG is concerned. Then Microsoft is environmental sustainability report is again one leader which doing ESG reporting. Then Accenture, we have shared the 360-degree value creating in ESG reporting, how they do it, how they report. So 360-degree value reporting means all reporting in one place, right, on real-time basis. And Accenture being a technical firm, it's easy for them. Then these are the 10 best companies for environmental and social and governance values. So this is just for your reference for the that what are the 10 best companies in ESG. Now, how does India view ESG compliance? So if you see, so it started from CSR in Companies Act 2013. Then it was previously suggested by National Voluntary Guidelines on Social, Environmental and Economic Responsibility of Business, related in 2011 before being included in Companies Act 2013. Now, what is happening? SEBI is a body that is, that is a market regulator of these securities and protecting the interest of stakeholders. So in 2021, what SEBI did, SEBI issued a circular that contains a detail of new sustainability related reporting, and it requirement that was called as business responsibility and sustainability report. So previously it was known as BRR, business responsibility report. Now it is known as BRSR, that means business responsibility and sustainability report. So now BRSR is what? Is a departure of BRR format. So that SEBI has done it. So now these are the business responsibility and sustainability reporting in India. What are the aspects related to it? Disclosure formats in India. Indian companies adopting the ESG. Vedanta, Reliance India Limited, GSW Energy. So they are all following this. HDFC Bank. And then we see that they're in India ranks lowly 120 among 165 countries in its progress towards achievement of all 17 SDGs, lower than SARC. So they have to work hard. And conclusion, I would say, digital technologies, they play a key role in corporate strategic policy and sustainability success through sustainable reporting, right? So in the end, I would like to say that yes, in an era of technology, digital technology has been transforming day by day. A lot of data is becoming online. A lot of people, number of internet users are increasing day by day. So the companies which are actually not focusing on digital, they are going to miss something very big, right? Moreover, as far as this ESG reporting is concerned, And a lot of companies, even Harvard Business Review, MIT's reports, Forbes report, and I mean, top companies reports I've shared in this PPT, all are talking about that there's this big data and artificial intelligence technologies and this robo advisor and various apps and companies which I just shared in this PPT, they are quite helpful in ESG reporting. And companies have to take help of this digital, because manually is not going to happen. It's more error prone and you will not be able to cover it comprehensively. So dear participants, these are the references which are being used for your references. And in the end, I would like to say we all are talking about this philosophy of sustainability and ESG reporting. But remember, if you want to really focus it on this philosophy of sustainability reporting, again we have to go back to our Indian culture and we have to focus on this: Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadranu pashyantu, ma kaschid dukbhag. May all be prosperous and happy. May all be free from illness. May all see what is spiritually uplifting, and may no one suffer in any way. So when we will think like this for the society, for our environment, for our well-beings of the other, when all will be happy, the entire universe will be happy, and there will be an ecosystem of happiness will be created. Thank you very much. Hope I'm able to finish this PPT on time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, if you have any query, you may ask, please.
My answer, good afternoon, this is Chakravarti. This is with reference to this digital technologies. Is it purely, I think, whatever we're talking about, are purely towards the software orientation, software oriented? I think there are some hardware orientation also, wherein people try to use these sensors in getting the CO2 and other kind of digital data, putting up on the servers. That kind of thing is there in India, sir, or any company is using that? Hello?
Sir, you are on mute.
I think I have already.
So, yeah. So I think you're talking about that any hardware technologies. So mostly,
Yes, sir.
if you see the information that I have used it over here is related to software, as you are talking about that. So as far as reducing these, are you talking about reducing these social emissions and all those hardware devices?
Not exactly reducing the social emissions, knowing about the social emissions data, because again, that's going to be digital data, which has to be uploaded onto the servers to make all industries aware. Okay, in your area, this is the percentage of CO2. Then indirectly they can, okay, now, sir, please continue.
So basically, yeah. So basically, they are more focused on the softwares and ERP solutions only, because here in this particular presentation, we are specifically focuses on ESG reporting data, right? So how this technology is going to help in the ESG reporting data? So most of the technologies which are available, they are in the form of a software, right, or in the form of cloud computing, and most of the technologies which are available and being used by these tech companies are all in the form of these softwares and applications only. Yeah.
So none of the companies are into the hardware-based thing. Only pure reporting part only.
No, hardware based, I think I'm not very sure about it that companies are using certain hardware. Most of these softwares are there for digital technology reporting, because in the current times also mostly the companies are using digital software based technologies only, the ERP solutions and the cloud computing, artificial intelligence and machine learning. But yes, hardware can be an aid to these softwares, right? But as of now, I mean, company are using such hardwares is basically it's not, I have not come across that.
Because if, for example, if you're talking about a real-time data, right, sir, if I am having a highly polluted industry in outskirts of a city, now in order to get real-time data, they must have a real-time emission data directly. So directly with software, I am 100% sure they cannot get the real-time data only with pure software. They must try to include some sensors at different locations. Again, that becomes as an IoT. IoT sensors are already available in the market. So that will give the real-time data, which can be appended and updated onto the servers, and reporting can be done. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah,
that kind of thing
sensors
is there in
can
India.
be, yeah, sensors can be used to track these data. But if you see the majority of the times what it happens, the companies, report these ESG data. And as far as this reporting is concerned, if you see majority of the time, these software solutions are prominently, available and they are being prominently used. So hardwares are comparatively lesser as compared to these softwares.
I understand. I understand. Thank you, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Like Ministry of Environment, if you see in most of the cities, they have installed lot many sensors to evaluate this, like what is the pollution level. And I would say that
Yes, sir.
if you go on this MOE, you'll find out the data on the pollution levels, PM 2.5, PM 10, etc. So these
Yes, sir.
hardwares are basically, with the help of these hardwares, we can get to know. By the end of the day, we need softwares to collate
Yes,
all
sir.
the
End of the
data
day.
and to analyze.
That's true. Even in Hyderabad, at every crossroads, I can see a big billboard sitting like, no, this is the level of, this is the level, this is the level.
Software, we can say software is the heart of a hardware, right? So computer cannot work without a software. It's just like something like just one box.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Without software, hardware can work.
No, see, software is very much necessary. How will you report it? You just tell me. If you do not have those, the programs or the languages or those systems or modules into that place, how will the hardware just work?
Because for me, I'm not taking the software.
I have an answer for the Mr. Badea Shikarati. Actually,
yes,
when we are talking about the software companies like Microsoft, Accenture, and all, they will not be emitting the, this NOx and SOx. But while I'm in a construction field, wherein in our sites we will be measuring all the parameters with the equipment itself, hardware itself, by an NABL certified laboratory, and then we will be reporting it, and again we will
test କଣ କରିବ ଖୋଜା ଖୋଜି କରି ଦବା ଆଉ ସେଇ ଗୋଟେ FDP ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଥିଲି ତ।
So, dear participants, hope this session would have been really interesting, and might be you get to know about the various set of possible technologies, digital technologies, which are there in the area of ESG reporting and in sustainability broader sense. So, thank you, Professor Mayank, for giving us a thoughtful insights.
Thank you.
Now, the most important part is there in our next session, for which you all are waiting for, and that is our examination. So let me tell you that at 11:45 or 12, we will start off the session. The link will be shared on Zoom.